Hello, listeners, and welcome to today's edition of the Peggy Smedley Show. As always, I'm your host, Peggy Smedley. Technology can help us build smarter cities. It can help us build infrastructure safer. And it can improve our manufacturing, transportation, and our energy systems. It can do amazing things. But technology, without responsibility, ethics, and purpose, can create challenges just as quickly as it can create solutions. That is why I say with great technology comes great responsibility. Now, one of the world's most influential voices has joined in this discussion. Now, we're going to talk all about that right now, and I want to give you my thoughts about why humanity stands at a crossroads. Let's talk about AI and its impact on humanity here for a moment. Pope Leo XIV has recently come out and is speaking out about AI and the moral questions surrounding it. Now, it's pretty unusual to see a pope come out and make a strong stance. And he's actually recently come out with a 250-page document. And he warns humanity stands at a crossroads as these technologies become more powerful and more integrated into our daily lives. Now, regardless of your religious beliefs, there's something important in that message, because the conversation is bigger than religion. It's bigger than politics, whether you are any side of whatever aisle that you might be. And it's certainly bigger than the technology itself. At its core, this is a conversation about what kind of future we want to build as a society, who we want to protect, why we need to protect them, and how we will protect each and every one of us, old, young, everybody in between. So let's start with a basic question many people are asking. Will robots and AI eventually take over our jobs? How many have been asking that? You go around, you talk to people, people are very concerned about this. Depending on who you ask, you will get dramatically different answers. And I'm certain, depending on your age, depending on the job, people will say something different. Some people believe AI will create prosperity while eliminating much of the work humans currently perform. They imagine a future where machines handle everything from driving trucks and diagnosing illnesses to managing factories and providing customer service. Others warn of mass unemployment, economic disruption, and a world where human workers become increasingly unnecessary. I understand both viewpoints, but I don't see either extreme capturing the reality we're likely to face in the very near future. That's absolutely a fact. Things are moving fast, but let's take a breath here. For this foreseeable future, the world will probably be defined by the human plus robot, not the human versus the robot. The most effective systems today are not replacing people entirely. That's absolutely what's happening. They are augmenting human capabilities. Robots don't have the capability to just completely eliminate humans. We are seeing this in manufacturing, where robots perform repetitive or dangerous tasks, while people oversee operations, solve problems, and make complex decisions. We see it in healthcare, where AI can help identify patterns in medical images, but doctors still provide judgment, context, and patient care. That's what we want. We want that patient care. We see it in the infrastructure, logistics, and energy management, where intelligent systems process enormous amounts of data, while humans remain responsible for oversight and true accountability for all of it. In other words, the future is not simply about automation. Now, think about this. That's the critical word here that I want us to talk about, automation. So let's talk about what is automation. And we want to really define what is the word automation. Let me ask you this question. What does automation look like to you? I was having a conversation the other day, and that was the question we were pondering. The answer is truly different depending on your age and even your position. For some, it's imagining the Jetsons. For others, it's imagining the Terminator. And others, it's imagining Blade Runner 2049. Will our future be about collaboration rather than robots that can pass for humans? These are things we have to think about. Well, we were saying it right now, we have nothing to fear, at least not for now. The real question isn't whether change is coming. Change is absolutely coming. But let's think of it this way, but not to blur the line between humans and machines. But we must admit the robot world is coming, but we need to understand it. The question is how fast will it happen and whether society is prepared for it. And that's where we need to be honest. Every major technological revolution has created winners and losers. The Industrial Revolution transformed economies, but disrupted entire industries. The internet created extraordinary opportunities, but also introduced challenges nobody ever anticipated. Artificial intelligence will likely do both, and we're seeing it every day. It will create opportunities we cannot even yet imagine, and it will create disruptions we are only beginning to understand. That's why conversations about guardrails matter, and they matter now. Not because technology is bad, not because it's an evil tool, not because powerful technology without clear boundaries can lead us down paths we never intended. One of the concerns raised by many leaders, including the Pope, is the idea that we may begin treating human beings as data points rather than people. So let's go back to AI agents that mirror human behavior, because this is important. Or sadly, we will be acting or actually stripping away the fun-spirited Jetson dream of pure innocence, only to replace it with this horrible vision of identity ambiguity. And it's important to think about this, because think about that just for a moment. And it's very important for you to understand this, because human dignity cannot be reduced to a spreadsheet. Compassion cannot be fully captured by an algorithm. Wisdom is not the same thing as computational power. And yet, there's a growing pressure to optimize everything. And we can't do that. But if efficiency becomes the only objective, we risk losing sight of the loving people these systems are supposed to serve. Do we understand that? That's the point here. That is why I believe AI governance is becoming one of the defining challenges of our time right now. Who controls these systems? Who decides how they are trained? Who benefits from the outcomes? Who's accountable when things go wrong? These are not technical questions. These are societal questions that we need to be considering. And increasingly, let's go back to the Pope, they are moral questions. Moral questions. This brings me to something I've been talking a lot about lately, which is very important, and I guess brings me to my opinion for today. What happens when AI becomes increasingly autonomous? Today, most AI systems still require significant human supervision. We know that. That's what we've been talking about. But what happens 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Put in your imaginations here for me for a moment. What happens when systems are making decisions faster than all those humans can review them? What happens when autonomous agents begin coordinating with other autonomous agents? What happens when robots become capable of performing not just physical tasks, but cognitive tasks at scale? That's what we're talking about here. Those aren't science fiction questions anymore. They are planning questions. I know you're all following me here, and that's exactly why we need guardrails now rather than later. Because once the technologies become deeply embedded into society, deeply rooted into everything we do, changing course becomes truly hard, much harder to do. So here's my tip for today. Remember, innovation and responsibility are not opposing forces. They absolutely are not. They're the most successful technological ecosystems often emerge when innovation operates within clear frameworks. We've seen it over time. We need policymakers who understand technology. We need industry leaders who understand ethics. We need educators preparing students for a rapidly changing workforce. We need researchers asking them these really, really difficult questions. We need citizens engaged in the conversation, raising their hand up, as I'll say in big, I don't understand. We need to do that. And yes, we need philosophers and faith leaders and ethicists contributing perspectives that remind us technology exists to serve humanity, not the other way around. I remain optimistic about what artificial intelligence can achieve. It's super, super cool. And it can help improve healthcare outcomes, strengthen critical infrastructure, and make manufacturing safer and more efficient. Same thing at the job site, so many other things. It can help address energy challenge and support sustainability goals. The potential benefits are enormous. But optimism should never become blind enthusiasm. Never blind enthusiasm. Innovation without responsibility can become so dangerous. Progress without purpose can become destructive. Remember that. Capability without accountability can become reckless. We're running so fast and so furious, we need to put the brakes on a little bit and look at what we're doing. The choices we make today will shape the role AI plays tomorrow and for future generations. We need to think about future younger generations here. We can build systems that empower people or systems that diminish human agency. This is so important. We can create technologies that strengthen communities or technologies that deepen isolation. We can prioritize human flourishing, or we can prioritize efficiency at any cost. That is why I believe this is the moment that matters so much. Not because AI is replacing humanity, but because AI is forcing humanity to make decisions about its values. Change is coming, but one thing is clear. The future is ours to shape. And we need to shape it now. The question is whether we build it responsibly. Whether we build it responsibly. That's important. And I certainly hope we do. All right, listeners, I'm out of time today. Make sure to share and subscribe to our episodes each week. Share your thoughts with me on X at Connect the World, or follow me on LinkedIn and continue the conversation there, or even on YouTube. We want you to join, subscribe, do everything you got to do up there. Please check out our website at connecttheworld.com or our show website at thepeggysmedleyshow.com. Remember, we broadcast live every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central, and our podcasts are put up every Thursday. This is the Peggy Smedley Show, your voice for our Connect the World. And remember, with great technology comes great responsibility.